welcome. You are now watching Reimagine Africa TV. And I want to just thank everyone who is here tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for presencing yourself in this space. I want to turn to the panelists as well and say thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We're excited to be here.
Thank you. So tonight we came together to have a conversation about advocacy and activism, a conversation on care, which is really a conversation about how we can not only take care of others, but take care of ourselves, right?
That's important.
Yeah.
So before we delve into that topic even further, I want to introduce you all to the panelists who are sitting here with us now. So first, I want to introduce myself, and I am Kymani Jade. I am a teaching artist, a spoken word artist, a creative, and the creator of the new African Artivist movement. And sitting with me here today is Ike, who is a Nigerian-Australian curator and writer based in New York City. He has prior curatorial experience at Performa, AC Institute, Arts in Odd Places, Brick, and the African Artists Foundation, with projects ranging from performance and public arts to web-based media. Onyewuenyi was one of the founding members of Pop Africana, a cultural platform for contemporary African ideas. He maintains an ongoing writing practice with his work appearing in Cool Hunting, After Image, Arts Black, and High Side, among others. Before embarking on curatorial work, Onyewuenyi worked as a clinical intake coordinator and counselor at Community Mental Health Clinic. He is deeply interested in how visual and literary forms of expression can mine the subjective and physical dimensions of the body and geography, inscribing it with the faculties that are of the mind and rendering it as an intersubjective site for critique and intervention on matters apropos to race, gender, and psychic well-being. And next to him, we have Miss Nikenya Hall. And Miss Nikenya Hall is a transplant here in New York from the Midwest. Along with her master's in human relations, she is counseling, has a studies in counseling from the University of Oklahoma. Ms. Hall is a certified energy healer and therapeutic touch practitioner, and pulls from her 11 years of professional mental health experience, 3 years of energy work, steadfast meditation practice, and day-to-day life chronicles to bring awareness to those around her. Ms. Hall's passion is to help those on their life's path to acquire as many tools to navigate this thing called life. She lives by her favorite quote by an unknown author: "Speak what you seek until you've seen what you've said." Not only is Ms. Hall a well-rounded mental health counselor and energy healer, she loves to dabble in the fashion world, hoard shoes, and play fetch with her 10-year-old Bichon Frise, Mr.
That's right. That's all right.
And next to her, we have Mr. Kahlil Koromantee. And Mr. Kahlil Koromantee is a life coach, an author, as well as an educator. And in a moment, we're going to have them all speak more to what they do. But he writes motivational books that are for hard-to-reach youth and their parents, as well as youth advocates seeking alternative tools to help reach underrepresented and marginalized teens, as well as young adults. Koromantee has a master's in applied psychology from New York University and is a New York State certified English teacher. He is currently developing counseling and educational programming for RealSkillsNetwork.com and is a board member and writing skills teacher for PrisonWrite.org, a mental wellness program that uses writing as a healing tool for the incarcerated and recently discharged. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to go around. I want you all to just share a little bit more about what you do and the work that you're involved in, and what is it you want to share tonight? What is it that you really want to bring to the conversation tonight? All right, so we can start with Mr. Koromantee.
Well, I think in the light of what's going on currently, you know, with the murders of our young men and women by police terrorism, that's foremost on my mind, I think on everyone else's mind at this point. And since we're here to talk about care, how do we care about ourselves in a country that seems to be caring more about polar bears and gorillas than black people?
Yeah.
So what I try to do when I life coach, I help parents and their young adult sons and daughters reconnect, find out what this connection is about. A lot of times it has to do with communication or lack of communication and just poor choices. And sometimes the parents admit that they missed that mark right there. So my job is to be an interventionist. I also write youth motivational books for hard to reach populations, whether it's gang members. My last book was on young men who don't identify as gay and yet have sex with men. And there's a new term now called same gender loving. Actually, it's not so new, but it's new in terms of mainstream society. And there's a bit of a rift, whereas people are having identity wars. I want to be called this, I want to be called that. So my approach is trying to get out of the divisions that we create for ourselves and finding the common ground, which I think is black bodies and melanin. I think if we can just agree that melanin is what keeps us as family, I think that's one way of meeting the commonplace. My next project is on the foster care system and how young men and women are coming out of the foster care system unprepared, without any kind of net waiting for them to catch them on their own. So I'm tackling that. That's my next project. Prison Write is something that I do ongoing. We try to use writing as a healing tool for incarcerated men and women or recently discharged, and we find that it actually helps them come out of the prison industry back into the society, and because they're hit with so many obstacles that actually encourage them to return to prison. So we come in to help them facilitate all that through writing. So
Excellent work.
that's a nutshell.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay, Nikenya, how about you?
Yeah, so I definitely enjoy mental health, and my target audience is people that look like me. I think, you know, that's important. Our culture, especially women, young professional women. And recently I would like to say that energy work found me. And so it's a balance between merging our thought processes and how that looks in behavior, and then also our aura. We don't get to talk about that too much, but there's so much information in the energy that's around us and the energy around other people. And we access it all the time, we just don't know that we're doing that. So when you walk in a room and it feels off, what told you that it felt off? You didn't see anything.
It's the energy.
You didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Right. So that's energy. So we're dabbling into it all the time. So I want to create awareness for our people. I want to educate and also learn how to apply that in your everyday life. Because life is about having all the tools you need to be as balanced as possible. And with all the trauma that's happening so much, it's on our social media, it's on our TV, it's just traumatizing us over and over and over. What's going to happen in 5 years? We're going to be a ball of anxious people running around. Let's try to be proactive instead of reactive.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so IK.
So I think building on what the two panelists have said, my work is kind of an intersection of the two. So I was a therapist before. I'm now a curator, and the root word of a curator is in Latin is curare, or to care. So I've just shifted my focus from caring for patients. I work primarily with young girls who overweight and suffering from depression and had endocrine issues at Children's Hospital back in Pittsburgh. But shifted gears now, and I'm caring about how we think about, you know, visual culture, images, and what you mentioned, like on Facebook, seeing videos of black bodies constantly dropping, you know, and what that does, and just the psyche, and how we understand those images and what those images do to us and what they mean. So, so now I'm a curator, and my practice kind of spans from looking at performance or thinking about performance as a way to imagine alternate ways of kind of like existing or realities. If you think about therapy, when we do role playing and so forth, you know, performance is in a way you can kind of like act out different realities. So my interest in performance kind of stems from that, and then you know, I also have some interest in like how we can care for artists and care for communities who consume art, and ensure that those communities aren't commodified or turned over and gentrified and so forth. So that's kind of what my curatorial work is, and I write a lot about some of those topics. So.
Awesome. So moving right into the first topic, which has to do with this month, Minority Mental Health Month, July. So I really wanted to talk about Minority Mental Health Month because it's such an important conversation, especially when we look at the suicide rates and how deeply it impacts Black and Latino women, especially, right? And when we look at caring for others and caring for ourselves, we really have to focus on how we can ground ourselves and balance ourselves and be mindful of our mental health, right? So I wanted to ask you, Nikenya, if you could speak more to Minority Mental Health Month. And
I think we've came a very long way as a culture. Even the word mental health, I don't think people cringe as much as they used to, right? It used to be a taboo. We all had crazy Uncle Larry at the picnic, right?
And we knew he was crazy.
Right, we all had crazy Uncle Larry, but no one talked about it, right? And why is Uncle Larry crazy? And why doesn't Uncle Larry have a job? And why can't I hug Uncle Larry, right? Why can't I be left in a room with Uncle Larry? Why can't I sit on Uncle Larry's lap when I was a little girl? But no one talked about those things, right? And I think we're just at the point where we can discuss what mental health is.
And the benefits of it.
The benefits. What does it look like?
Right.
What does it look like to others? I think we've came and been like, okay, I see what that means on someone else. And I think it's time for us to say, what does it look like to me? If I'm having a really sad day and didn't get out the bed all day, is that okay or is it not okay?
Right.
If I didn't get out the bed for 3 days in a row and called into work, is that okay or not okay? Am I tired? Am I stressed? Or am I having a mental health issue? And it's okay if you're having that.
Right.
And I think the conversation is beginning to start, and I think people are beginning to say, okay, this is happening, but what do I do with it, right? Where do I go get help?
Right.
How do I get help? Who do I talk to? Do I talk to people who's older than me, which is going to tell me what? Do I talk to my friends, which is like, oh girl, you all right, you just tired?
Do I talk to the pastor?
Do I talk to my clergyman?
Right.
And we pray and give me some oil and some holy water. Like, how do I navigate these thoughts and feelings that I have that are valid? And I would love to start the conversation or continue the conversation.